Now, let's talk about why we're here. During the time that I have been elected, I talk to people and I listen to people. I came to this park, and every Saturday, Sunday, ever since I can remember, people have been on this park. They come out, they play basketball like those young men. They play soccer. Their children are here. I talk to the mothers that are here. I've talked to the sons that are here. I've talked to grown men that are here. And I asked them what kinds of things they wanted for their park. And they have shared that with me. And I said, I went back to the city manager, I went back to the deputy manager, and I brought those concerns in terms of what they wanted for their park. And what I said to them, I want you to come out and to present to the residents what the layout, what the expectation, what the plans are for Myrtle Grove. And then I want them to have an opportunity to give you feedback in terms of what they'd like to see in the park before the renovations actually begin. Because if there is an opportunity for us to change something, if there is an opportunity for us to include something that we didn't foresee, if there is an opportunity for things to happen differently, this is the time for their input. And I want to make sure that they have an opportunity for input. I'm going to say it again. Will we all agree? No. But we are going to come to some ideology, to some accord about what exactly is going to happen here in Myrtle Grove Park. This is the first meeting we've had. I don't think it'll be the last. I think it'll be a process through and through until we get to a point where we run through the process and we are just about done. So I am going to say to you, it's my pleasure to be here with you this morning. Everyone will get an opportunity to be heard. I want you to raise your hand if you want to have any conversation once the presentations are done. As I have indicated, the way I run my meetings, there's not going to be no disrespect of anyone. But you have the right to say what you want to say. You just can't say it any kind of way. All right? Okay. So I'm going to introduce who's here this morning. We have our city manager, Mr. Cam Benson. He's out here on a Sunday morning. I thank you so much for giving some of your time to us. We have our deputy city manager, Mr. Craig Clay, who is responsible for managing the bond renovations for the city. He provides the oversight and different things like that. And so he's going to walk you through our process. I have Councilwoman Shannon Campbell. She represents the Buccaneer Park area and Lake Lucerne, is it? And parts of
no,
just Buccaneer area?
Right.
The Bajas.
Correct.
All right. And then we have our at-large council member, Councilman Robert Stevens, and he is at-large. He represents people all over the county. So you might see him, all over our city. So you might see him at all meetings, okay, because there are two at-large members. And I am Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, and I represent residential seat 4, which takes us all the way from 151st Street all the way to 199th, from 27th Avenue over to 42nd. And then we also go on the other side of the highway, and we go over to 57th, which is where the Home Depot is. That's a part of our area as well. All right, so I want to thank you for being here. And I think we're going to go ahead and get started with you, Mr. Clay. Okay, do you want to have any opening remarks?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
First of all, I actually want to take this opportunity to thank you for being here this morning. Certainly you could have been doing something else. We all could have been doing something else. But this is a very important project for us. As we move through our general obligation bond projects, we're slowly getting toward the end of those projects. Some of them are being planned, some of them are being groundbroken on, and some of them are being completed. This is one of those projects that we need to sort of give you some ideas of what we've been thinking about, and then get some input from you, and then continue that process so everyone can be comfortable bringing forward a project. We'll bring that project forward to the mayor and council members. And council members, I'm happy to see you here this morning. Certainly, I'm going to turn it over to Craig to talk about the project, talk about where we are in the process, and begin some of that process, begin getting some of that input from you. So again, I want to thank you for being here this morning, Councilwoman Wilson. Thank you for for the meeting together and having us come out here. Normally she does a meet me Monday, and then she's talked to us. She says, let me do a meet me Sunday. I said, we'll be here. And so we're here. We want to hear what you have to say, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Good morning again, everybody.
Morning.
So as Cam and Councilwoman Wilson talked about, we as you've seen around the city, there's a comprehensive bond program that we've been implementing for the past several years. Back in 2000, late 2015, early 2016, there was a bond implementation plan passed that laid out what we would do at each one of our facilities. And in that plan, Myrtle Grove Park was included. So today what we're going to show you is a rendering or just some pictures of what that development would look like if we were to build exactly what is in the bond implementation plan as it sits right now. So let me share this with you.
You want me to do your banner?
Huh?
You want me to do your banner?
Cam's going to be Vanna White.
I'll do your, there you go. Great, let's do that.
Let's put that right there. Okay. Okay. So we've got two different angles. There's one, that's an aerial shot. You gonna hold, huh? Okay.
And I'll hold this.
You gonna hold this? Oh, okay, right. Vanna and
Vanna Black.
all right. So let me start with this one. This is an aerial shot. The drone was right here shooting down this way. Okay. The guys over here, you probably can't see it a little bit, but what we'll do is we'll walk it around and give everybody a chance to get a shot up close and see what exactly it is we got. Okay, so these are labeled A through H, huh?
I got it.
Okay, all right, okay. A is over here where you see the existing pool area. So this is a approximately 6,000 square foot community building and field house. Obviously, with that being built, this building will be knocked down. Okay. B is just to the, what is that? That is the east of the playground there, and this would be a pavilion. Approximate 30 by 30 pavilion, which is the largest that there is. C, you have an upgraded parking lot that would now be ADA compliant. Okay. D, the existing playground, which was just recently changed, will not be replaced. If there's anything that we need to do in order to upgrade, or if there are any fixes that are needed while we're doing construction, we would do those. E is here. Okay. These would be 2 new basketball courts with perimeter fencing. F, an outdoor fitness station, which would probably be somewhere about here. Okay. A walking trail all the way around the park. It would be about a quarter mile. Okay. It would originate at the entrance, and you would go all the way around the perimeter of the park. Okay. And perimeter picket fencing. So here the wood picket fence will be replaced. All of the fencing around the park will be replaced with steel picket fencing. If you've noticed, all of our projects have access control. So all of them will have fencing, and of course there will be security cameras and those types of things that will be connected to the real-time crime center. What we wanted to do is I'm gonna get you, ma'am. What we wanted to do is make sure there's a lot of nice green space in the park. We didn't want to take away the green space. So you'll notice that the development includes maximizing the green space that you have. The trees also, many of these are native trees. They cannot be removed, and those were included as a part of the development also. This is another angle here that Councilwoman Wilson is holding. This is actually the drone shot from the other way. You see here, this is the parking lot, but all the other structures remain the same. This is just a different view of it and a different angle. Okay, ma'am, you had a question.
I got a question. What are you going to do about the pool?
I'm sorry.
The pool. The pool.
The redevelopment of the pool is not included in here. What we've done is there are 3 pools in the city right now. You have right here at the community center, there's the indoor pool. You have a pool at Bunch Park, and you have a pool at Norwood. What we wanted to do is bring different amenities to different places. We did not seek to replace a pool for a pool. There was a pool at Brentwood, we're not replacing that. There was a pool at Myrtle Grove here that is not scheduled to be replaced. When we looked at usage and we looked at what was going on with municipal pools and public pool usage throughout the country, it really didn't play out and didn't play into the plans. The usage that we have on our pools is still low, even in the news. Outside of learn to swim courses and outside of things that we're doing, we have a swim team, the Stingrays. Outside of those things, there's not a lot of usage on our pools.
I got a question. On the initial capital improvement projects, you also had pending relocation of the existing Parks Recreation Center to construct a state-of-the-art gymnasium field house
Right.
to host amateur athletic. Is that what that is?
Yes.
Whatever this picture is.
That's this.
Okay, so
that's this building.
This building is the host amateur athletic union basketball events and other high-profile indoor athletic events.
Correct.
Okay.
So you're
Okay, so now I'm sorry. Let me.
I'm
put a pin in it.
finished.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repeat what your questions because people can't.
Oh, they
hear it,
can't.
Right, and so just give me a time. I'm gonna come over and then everybody will be able to hear. That's fair. Okay. So the question was about the pool, right? And whether or not we were gonna have a pool. And you heard Mr. Clay's response to that. Okay. And then her question was about the initial plan of a field house.
The state-of-the-art gymnasium field house.
Okay, so the field house that we have here is an indoor gym, basketball court that will be located over in that area.
Okay.
That's what you see in that building. And then your follow-up question was?
the pool at Brentwood is not being used and it's dilapidated.
That's correct.
So what are you going to do about that?
We have another project over at Brentwood Park. I don't know right offhand. Ms. Hughes actually has you got the bond implementation plan, a copy of it right there. It sounds like, but what is listed in there for Brentwood Pool is what we will do. I don't remember all of the components of the project there, but I can get that to you. I can share that with you.
Councilwoman, I just want to share. Yeah. When I talk to these gentlemen back here, they are interested in understanding the pool issue.
Okay.
They still want the pool.
Yeah. We're going to have a discussion about the pool, if y'all don't mind. What I want to do, if you have a question about the pool, let's hold that. And let's get through the discussion about the general renovations. And then we'll have a full conversation about the pool, because I've had several. And so we're going to have a dialogue. And that very well may be a tough part of our conversation, but that's part of what we're going to get through with. I think we have about 3 or 4 different issues that are going to be tough, but we're going to get through it as a community. Yes, ma'am.
My question is in regard to the state-of-the-art gymnasium. Are there any fees associated with that?
Wait. She said, according to when we take a look at this gymnasium, will there be a fees associated with the use of the gymnasium?
There could be. It depends on what type of programming that we add to the center. If there are amenities in there, such as a membership type thing, there's a weight room and that type of facility, there would probably be a membership. There are membership fees at our other facilities that have those. And then if there are certain special events like AAU is big in South Florida. Basketball, volleyball, those types of things. So they usually will have an entrance fee to those types of events.
Okay, so my second part of that question is, since you're undecided about the fees, if there's going to be a conversation about that, we currently have a facility ready to be purchased. I can walk in that facility. It's not cost effective for the residents, and as we're considering the fees for these facilities, and we be mindful that within less of a 2-mile radius, We have a Planet Fitness. You can get a premium membership with them, $22 a month. You have UFit, less than a 2-mile radius. I'm not sure if their price is less than $30. You can get access to premium facilities. So as we're spending the money to create these facilities, I'm asking that we have fees that are feasible for the residents, that we state the facilities are designed.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You reference there the two basketball.
Here, over here.
I'll repeat the question.
It was an oversight, or I'm dismissing the tennis. The point is that replacing basketball.
It's not an oversight.
The question is, we got the tennis courts here. Are we going to refurbish them or not? Was it an oversight in terms of anything that we're going to do with the tennis court? And the question was, it wasn't an oversight.
It's not an oversight. In the original plan, the elimination of the tennis court was in here.
It says replace too.
So we're eliminating the tennis court?
That's what the proposal is.
That's what's in the current plan.
Because the initial one says replace 2 existing tennis courts or with 2 new basketball courts. Is that the new one that you're?
Correct. That's right. Yes, sir.
I use that tennis court. Is there any revision that can be made to revitalize, or maybe put a basketball court and a tennis court next to each other, or vice versa? Because, right here we got 1 basketball court and they're pretty much sufficient with that. So is there something that we can implement to get that tennis court either moved, or still provide the 2 basketball courts and get the tennis court here, or
We'll take everything that you're saying. We're going to take note of it, come back and look at it, because remember that most of the things that we talk about have a cost implication. So if we went down a certain path and we have decided that, or we have made a budget for it, to make those changes has a cost implication. So we're certainly going to take everything that you say and review those things. In this plan, that court comes out, another pavilion would be in that area. That's what you see on the okay, the sign is over there. That answer the question?
Well, you could change that.
You know what I'm saying? Or we can't get the basketball court swapped out. I mean, not like you see how the tennis court is. That's too close to the road. Way too close to the road.
You're gonna have fencing around.
Fencing right here.
No real fencing, security.
Why is the fact that it's too close to the road relevant if you got fencing?
First of all, because I ain't gonna lie, it's just like, all right, there's too much human trafficking going on. First of all, and as me, I sit down and watch everybody play. I don't engage in activity. I just like my part. So when it comes too close to the road, it's too much too much access for anybody to see, and not all that. I was raised on this park. I don't even come out here. I heard it was a meeting. I came out here. I called everybody. I'm still calling people. But when it come out to be into that road, anybody can snatch and grab. Nah, ain't none of that.
Can't walk on the sidewalk.
Yeah, everybody good with their positions. Main thing is the pause. It's hot. I know everybody been talking about that, but as far as everybody got to come together, soccer and all that. All dreads come out here every Sunday, play soccer. Let's get a soccer field out here. All that. We be out here. Tell you, be out here.
Listen.
Okay, one second, one at a time.
If you look at it, nothing's happening. We're not getting rid of the soccer field. Yeah. In fact, we're making more open space by moving the court.
Right, but
more open space.
But man,
one at a time. Let him finish, and then we'll come back to you.
More open
Okay?
space for your soccer. We're not putting anything in that area.
I can see that.
Yes. Okay, go ahead and continue.
You want to know the thing about it? You move us up here. All right. But the thing about it, like I said, I don't play. I sit on the bench. I sit here and watch basketball, and I sit here and watch soccer, all in the same TV span. But if I got to come from way up here to way up here, why you just can't make a soccer field right here? And we can watch Jared play. Jared can watch us play. We can engage with them, stuff like that. We don't even really have an Optimus team out here at night. Nice. I don't want my nephew coming out here. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't want my nephew coming out here because it's nothing. What, just shade under this? Water fountain don't even work. Bathroom barely be open. It's probably dirty right now.
Look at all this.
No, it's gonna be clean because they were coming out here today.
No. Let me say something. Let me say something to you. All right. You've heard of the saying, "Let's speak truth to power."
Right.
Right. This is power.
Right.
So you speak your truth as long as you can speak it respectfully, so that we can translate your comments. And I'm talking about everyone. Your comments are important, but the respect is more.
We need more trees too, man. Hold on, more trees, but oxygen. I'm thinking about the earth.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't need this park.
Alright, we've been in this neighborhood for a long time. Y'all know how this neighborhood could get, you feel me? The closer we are to the street, like I done been in positions like, well, nigga, I'm sorry, well, I can't, you feel me? Like, I don't even be in stuff and like stuff happen, you feel me? Out of nowhere. The closer we are to the street, you feel me? The more opportunity people got to do crazy stuff out of the ordinary.
So you're saying, yeah, that's right. So you're saying the farther you are away from something like a drive-by,
right?
Something like anything, the less likely it's
Right.
really a safety barrier. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am.
That makes
you're
sense.
next. Yeah,
That makes sense.
go ahead, ma'am.
I just have a comment about the tennis court and the removal of the tennis court. I've been here 30 years. My son played tennis, representing the city of tennis. This tennis court, I do know was a unit. If you don't have to sign it, come sign it. I've seen people use this tennis court. I just have an issue. I think that every time we have opportunity for our
What was said? We didn't hear.
She said that, she has concerns about this tennis court, the proposal of it being removed. That to a large extent, she's seen it being used as she's been out
Seen
here.
it too.
And when you remove it, the opportunity for even greater uses is just gone.
Yeah.
There's no opportunity to stimulate the youth interest in tennis as a part of a recreation. That's good. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I just like to add to that. I use this tennis court. I use the one at Brentwood. I agree that it should be here. It's an option outside of basketball for other kids. We're close to Hard Rock Stadium. That's where they play tennis. Like, that is, I know Buccaneer Park is the go-to park for tennis as far as, playing tennis, but we have options around at other parks. This should definitely be here. I've seen people here because I'm here. I walk over there and I play tennis over there too. And I've seen people at Brentwood. I know if you're not living in the specific area, you may not see people there. But I've seen people there because I've walked over here, played. I've walked to Brentwood and played. So I think it should stay. Maybe not where it is, as the gentleman was saying, it's too close to the street. Opportunity presents itself, but I do believe it should stay, somewhere. It is a big park, so it can go somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I'm
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr.
Everybody
Rickle.
here? No. Okay, what she was saying was that she'd like to see the tennis court remain as well. She says that she comes here, she goes to Brentwood, she plays, but she really would like to see that it remain here. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, Miss. My concern is the walking. You have those that walk. I walk, and coming in the front is scary sometimes. The environment that's right in the front is scary sometimes. I've seen people with their beers, their coolers, and it's lounging time. That frightens me. So I don't walk. I see other people with their kids in carriages. Keep on. They don't come. And people, they do walk. Even the younger folks, they'll walk. But when I see this, the drinking, the alcohol, the signs up there that says no alcohol, I just immediately keep on going the other way. That's not a good environment for anyone.
What she said was that she likes to be and participate at this park. When she comes here at any given time and the area out front is blocked up, there's the smell of alcohol, there's the smell of weed, that all of these kinds of things are going on. It frightens her and it's off-putting to her. And she doesn't want to come and be around that kind of atmosphere. And so she's
No one
saying,
should want to
what
do
will be done to ensure that an environment that is pleasant for
Safe.
anyone to come up, that its perception is that it's safe,
Mm-hmm.
its perception is not off-putting, and its perception is that things that are happening in this environment are not of a nature that is below board and not above board. That's what she said. Did I catch
Yes.
that right? Okay.
Mr.
I'm
Red,
going to go to
go.
him now.
Mr. Red.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just made an inquisition of the nature. Miami Gardens, the home of the Miami Open for tennis. What facility do we have that our youngsters can get the opportunity to be in their next Miami or Saturday, the next year in Australia? What opportunity for tennis do we have in Miami Gardens?
The question is, what other opportunities are there for tennis in Miami Gardens?
With the Miami Open,
Being right here
Yeah.
as the Miami Open is Center.
You do have some outdoor courts, Mr. Ragu, that is still available. You also, one of the
Where?
things that, yes, Buccaneer, the new, I'm talking the newer places.
Okay.
Yeah, the-
So Buccaneer, you do have,
Rolling
but
Oaks
one of
has
the other
one
things, Paulette and her team have also
Rolling
recently
Oaks.
created a new tennis program.
for kids.
The other
For
thing
kids.
is that
The
we
tennis
have
court.
a fairly
You know,
decent
they have a tennis. They have a
relationship,
tennis
more than
court,
a fairly
but they
decent
have a
relationship with Hard Rock Stadium.
tennis
We have
program
talked to them
for kids.
about working with us to develop several programs like that, where we could use those facilities to do some of the training in our tennis program.
I don't
This
usually
gentleman, I
interject,
think this
but
gentleman right here.
okay, yeah, I know, I got him. I don't usually interject when it's meetings like this here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm tired of going to Hard Rock Stadium when we got what we got.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up the street. Yes, sir.
I know that he mentioned something about, as you said, security gates, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means that they're going to be hours of operation where nobody can come in after hours, like basically hang around.
Right.
That's
Okay,
correct.
okay, that's it.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm talking about hang around, period. I'm sorry.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me repeat.
Yeah.
The question that he asked was, are there going to be perimeter gates that will let you in and out? That means that there will be park hours. Once the gates come up, there'll be a certain time that you can come in and a certain time that you will have to leave. So at night, the lights just go off. But and there's a gate that goes down, but you can step right over it. That will not be the case.
Okay.
When you go to Betty T. Ferguson and you see the gate,
Yes.
you can't get in
That's
until
right.
it's open. Okay? Until it's open. So now what that means? That means that Betty T, when they were going out there at 5 o'clock in the morning and it was accessible, it's no longer accessible at 5 a.m. because the gates are closed. Now, were adjustments made for people to get in there? Of course. But there is a regulatory entrance and exit based on time. You follow what I'm saying? Timing of being able to enter your park will be regulated through the open and closing hours of the park. That's clear? Okay. Yes.
It's not really a question.
Yes, sir.
As a potential park in general. Facility that's already here, right? This is a suggestion. Why not just upgrade whatever is here? Like the courts, the fencing, the existing building right here could be knocked down and be upgraded, right? Fix the pool right here, and just not put up a perimeter fencing where it is that public at large. Because we generally come here at a certain time. Whatever time we need a park is accessible. But once, like you said, the gate goes up, there's going to be an opening time and a closing time. So our suggestion to you guys is why not just upgrade whatever facilities existing right now, as it is right now. Upgrade the tennis court, upgrade the basketball courts, upgrade the building, and upgrade the parking lot or whatever it is. And just let everything remain the same. Plan-wise.
Okay, everybody understand? Everybody heard that? Okay. Yes,
No, I just want to confirm, we do need the upgrading, just like all parks do. We need some upgrading done here for the communities. We have a diversity, so we need it upgraded. We need the fencing. We don't need to feel uncomfortable. We need to be safe. And that was discussed a lot at your budget hearing meeting. We want to be safe.
I wish that the police chief were here Because what I would want her to do is to tell me how many times she's been called here in an unsafe environment, especially on a Sunday. Because the question really comes down to, is it a perception or is it a reality? Now I'm not going to argue whether it is or it isn't. I want to look at the data and see what the information tells us. Now I'm going to say this here and it's going to be unpopular because it generally is. I don't want black men, every time we see them, for us to think that we got to run from them. Because a lot of them are in our homes. They're our sons, they are our fathers, they are our husbands, they are our grandchildren. And so,
All women.
all women, all women.
Because
Because listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Respectfully, like
Too much of the perception becomes what we think is a reality, and it's not. And so we've got to say, if this is a problem at Myrtle Grove Park, let's deal with it. Let's deal with it, and let's look at it from a reality standpoint. If the area up front is not conducive for all people to have access to this park, we got to deal with that. If there is crime on this park, and that's real, we got to deal with that. But we can't decide that we don't want something and what we don't want it for doesn't exist. We've got to say this part changed because this was going on, this was going on, this was going on, this was going on. To be fair. To be fair to everybody. I'm sorry. I'll come back to you and then, yes ma'am.
Yes, I'm in full agreement with everything you just said, because unfortunately for us, we put on blinders. We know what's happening. We started to accept it. We've started to accept it as a given. Then when someone brings it to our attention, then we start talking about, oh, this is happening, that. We know it's happening. But now, unfortunately, with all the negative connotations that we hear about our fine city, we walk right into it and accept it. So if you see it and you see something needs to be done, start with you. You need to act on it. You need to do something about it. Not go to someone else first when you see it first. If you see something in this neighborhood that you don't see in Coral Gables, that you don't see in Parkland, why are we accepting it? That we don't have to. But it's just like, oh, it's okay because it's in Miami Garden. Oh, it's okay because they'll let it do it. No, we don't. We want the best for our community, our city, our children, our seniors, as anyone else. But who does it start with? Us.
exactly.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to talk about the courts. You already have lights. Why not just refurbish it and leave it there and just upgrade the basketball courts? You already got lights. It's already there. Just upgrade it. As far as all of the people that hang out in my community in Bunch Park, we had the same problem. But it's people, some of the adults that control that park. And whatever problem there is a police problem. So you have to lean on Paulette and her staff to call and monitor what's going on at the park, because it's a breakdown somewhere. These people are taxpayers too, or they live in the community, so they ought to be able to enjoy it, but they still need to respect the neighborhood and respect the park. And that comes from some of the elders who need to keep an eye on the youngins and teach them respect. And then everybody will be comfortable in the park. But I like the idea of what's going to happen here. I think it's a good thing. I was telling Cameron, I met my ex-husband here. Great memories on this tennis court. I mean, he's not my ex-husband, but I still love him. You know, hey, real love never dies. So we met on this tennis court, so I really don't want to.
Her memories.
Yeah. And you know what? Really our ideal is to continue to see love blossom.
There you go.
You know, to continue to see love blossom. But we know that love is sometimes hard.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. We're not here because this is convenient. We're here because of the love we have for this community. And like I was saying earlier, I grew up here. I didn't come here. I'm not a transplant. I went to Myrtle Grove Elementary. So when you talk about this community, you're not talking about a place I moved into. You're talking about a place where I grew up at, where I worked in team clean to help keep the park clean in the summer. So I have a vested interest in seeing some people that I grew up with continue to be able to come in and get to know one another, right? Okay. So now we got another issue that we're going to have to deal with, right? And that's this pool. Now, I've had extensive conversations.
I don't mean it. I want to address something. First of all, I appreciate your comments. I really do, as far as looking at it, how it exists, and how we can change it based on how it exists. And we'll take all that in consideration. All your comments will be taken in consideration. That's number one. Number two, one of the things that we do, and we do this not only with our public facilities, but we do it with private facilities, is that we get input from the police department. So if there are things being built in our city, whether we're doing it, somebody else is doing it, or they're investing, the police department is involved. I'm sorry. I'm going to come your way. What I'm saying is, no matter what we do, how we do it, we're concerned about are there activities going on in the park that need to be addressed. Because throughout that planning process, our police department is involved. The manager's involved, our city attorney's involved. So all of those things that we deal with when it comes to our own development or private development, those departments will be involved. Councilwoman mentioned, this won't be the first meeting. So if there's an opportunity for us now to bring the police in and talk about police activities, talk about the things that are going on in the park within the community as well, we'll have that information for you. I just wanted you to know that as we move forward, we're going to be in step with the police department. We'll be in step with our engineering folks. We'll be in step with the community, be in step with the administration and council members as well as we continue to move through this project. Okay? But I appreciate your comments. Some of them are very good comments, and some of those things we can take to the drawing board and take into consideration as we move through this process. But the idea of leaving things as is and upgrading and doing those types of things, that's a good idea. Okay? Thank you. Oh, Councilman.
So y'all heard what he said? Okay.
They didn't hear.
He said that you guys are going to be engaged in this process as we go. What he wanted you to know is that these drawings are not absent of consultation with the police department, public works, the whole 9 yards. And so when you take a look at not only the drawings, but the overall operations, it's a team comprehensive planning where everybody has input from their respective expertise to add to how we design, how we lay it out, what our hours need to be, what the programming in different areas needs to be. So we will take your recommendations, and it may mean some of the things that you see on the drawing may change. And that's why, let me tell you, you guys are important. Every voice is important because we do what we think is best. But the moment sometimes we can hear somebody, we go, oh, we didn't see that. You follow me? So that's why I'm saying we don't need to be in opposition of one another, because collectively there's a lot of brain power and goodwill that is here. And so because we say something that's different from each other doesn't mean that we relatively oppose one another. We're just trying to see what we can do that's best for us all together. That's what this is. Okay? All right, then you, sir. Yes.
Yes. We have to remember this is a city concern. Even though this morning we're sitting here in beautiful Myrtle Grove and trying to enhance it even more, those of you that's here now, some of you, or the majority of you, I'm sure, come from this area. But whatever happens in this area directly or indirectly affects, directly or indirectly affects the entire city. So even though I wasn't born into this area or walked these streets when I was a little girl or whatever, that doesn't mean I don't have the same feeling that I have for the area that I live in Miami Gardens. So those of you that are sitting here now, this particular crowd, it should be all the way back there to the rafters. Why? Because people are concerned, and not just with Myrtle Grove, but concerned about the city. Because when I see something in the area that I live in, and I'm speaking to people that I love in this area, then I would want the same thing for them. So we are our own worst enemies if we speak negatively about our city, if we speak negatively about our area, because that's what the other people in the other areas pick up on and use that against us. So let's be the main person that's out there beating the drum for ourselves and do what we can as a unit to do what needs to be done.
And that's what we're gonna do. All right, sir.
My education background, I'm educated in urban planning. And one thing I can say, one of my teachers had me do is go to a bunch of city meetings in different places. And, you know, it's beautiful that they were able to do this meeting at the park. But if you don't show up at these meetings, ain't nothing gonna get done the way you want it because your voice is not heard.
Hey,
So,
that's the truth.
you know, that's one thing I got to say. As far as the police is concerned, yep, police data does make sense. But at the same time, we also got to look at different places. We could go to what's that? Reynolds Park on 159 and not 159, but way in North Miami.
The 6th Avenue.
They got a big park just like this. They don't have no fence that you gotta open and close, or have people here at the park to manage the fence. They just got a big wide open park that people can enjoy, whether it be 5 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of people walk before the sun comes out. I understand the police part, but we got to get past that because, for instance, that big plaza over there that we tore down the flea market, it's just a corporate flea market now. That's all it is. You got Ross, Marshalls. Why we couldn't have a mall like it was supposed to be? You know what I mean? I understand that the flea market sold and somebody else bought it and they did whatever they needed to do once they got the approvals. But, that's what we can't look at it as we can't have this in Miami Gardens because it's black people or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You gotta look at it as you gotta do what you gotta do. It's just like in Midtown. They took Midtown and moved all the people out of there, did whatever they did. But the people, it's still the hood. But they got it where they got more police on the streets to monitor the peoples or whatever the case may be. Not to say police is everything, but I'm just saying, we got to look at it a different way.
I think one of the things that I'll say, and we're going to move on to the most contentious conversation that I think is yet to come, and that is this city is a legacy. It was left by a group of people who decided they wanted to be free enough to run their own self and to govern themselves. And they participated from the very, very beginning. Even when it failed, they fought and they came back. And so we want to preserve this. And it was done by people that just looked like me and you. I'm a product of this city. The mayor, former mayor, product of the city. And so we have an obligation to protect this legacy. And every person is a stakeholder that's real. Okay? All right? Young man, you, and then I'm going to talk about the pool.
I ain't about no feelings towards the kids. Like the police, all this, that, and the third. Nothing pertaining to kids. Like last field day I seen was when I was going to Myrtle Grove. So as far as somebody telling me like, hey, that was the kid, hey, get a business, it's gonna help you out. Or if you want to be a police, I don't hear that no more. At all. No
You need to get on that with some meat.
If they want to get involved, they got to come out here and show some love too. They got to spend some time with us. Show like, man, it ain't all like that. I want to be a police. I want to be a detective, a firefighter, a construction worker, something like that. Only thing I probably know is probably seen what my dad do, a garbage man, or a bank teller, what my mom do. As far as like really somebody other than my family come to guide me, coach me, I don't see that, especially not in this community. I can walk down the street, a police will stare me down until I get to my house before they ask me, bro, you having a good day? Or nothing. Ain't none of that. I see kids at the store, I get on my last, because that's what the older people used to do to me. I knew what I was taught. There's no more of that going on.
No, and they don't walk around.
I think
either.
that some of the facilities or the lack thereof in this park may have contributed to something not being offered. But I will tell you that I am a huge proponent of parks and recreation throughout the city. And through, they have great activities, and I'm confident that they're going to come here. I mean, when I say through and through, whether we're talking optimists, whether we're talking STEM, whether I mean, it's just fantastic. And we have a department that does an awesome job and has raised the standard of service. So I'm excited about what's going to come here, and I think that in terms of field day activities, just like you said, other kinds of things coming to Myrtle Grove, I think that we can do that. I think that we can do that. That's going to be real important. I want. Can I? All right. I'm going to infringe upon my colleague here to talk a little bit about something that he knows a lot about, and that's education. If that's what you're saying, education for our upcoming generation. And that's right. Would you take a moment?
Sure. First and foremost, good morning. Thank you all for being here this morning. As many of you all know, I'm a pastor as well, so I had early service and got out here just so I can be in the involvement of the communication and the conversation that's happening within our community. So, Councilwoman, thank you for organizing this, and to our city administrators, thank you all for being here this morning as well. This is what community looks like. This is community, when you can come together and say, what can we do to better our community? What can we do to fix the issues at hand? What can I do to make a positive impact in our community? So this is what it looks like. You all coming here expressing your concerns and your issues to the power that be to make it happen. One of the things addressing your concern, my brother, that I'm currently working on is securing grant funding with the manager's office to bring more recreational programming to the city of Miami Gardens. Across the board, around our entire city. More STEM program, more recreational, more community involvement, serving with our non-for-profit organizations that has boots on the ground every single day that's doing the work. It's not an easy task, but we're working to get it done. The issues that's addressed as it relates to the renovations and what you want to see and how we want to keep things, they're all fair views. So now it's time to collectively work together to actually make it happen. Nothing does my heart well, Councilwoman's heart, the city manager, our parks director, than seeing people on the parks actually enjoying recreation in our community. We compare ourselves to Coral Gables, Aventura, but the reality is Coral Gables, Aventura, Coral Springs, they don't have the culture that Miami Gardens has. They don't have that beautiful collectiveness when it comes down to our different, with the diversity that Miami Gardens has. We have something unique here. Forget what they say about what we stand for. We collectively know what the diversity look like. It's right here. It's among us. You got people representing different countries and different nationalities all sitting here together enjoying the beautiful park that we all pay for here in the city of Miami Gardens. So just finding ways to collectively work together, not putting one down because my opinion sounds better than yours, but just saying how can we meet each other at the middle so that we can collectively work together and enjoy the recreation. I want to see the young kids play in here, exploring more options, because we know college is not the answer to everything. So we do know that vocational programming is something that's needed, something we need to expose our young people more to. So just doing those things, we're heading in the right direction. Miami Gardens is growing daily and making major progress, and I thank you all for keeping us on our toes. Like the Miss Cunninghams, Miss Providence, the Miss Reed Hughes, for keeping us on our toes and making sure that our community remains beautiful and that we're hearing the concerns of our people. So again, Councilwoman, thank you for coordinating this, and I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to pass it. I can talk. Yes, ma'am.
We, not you guys, we have to stop expecting and not doing. The first teacher, the first role model, the first face that baby sees is the parent. The parent is the first teacher. So whoever that parent is, at whatever level, degree, or whatever they qualify themselves, they're most important. Parents need to be involved. Those of you who grew up here, you knew what was. Why can't it be is? You have to be a part of the solution, not just bringing the problem. If you know these young people have been voted upon or have been asked through interview process to serve our city, they have responsibility. They know what their responsibilities are. But if you don't come in the correct way and ask for things to be done after you've done something yourself, no one's just going to constantly give us. We're not entitled. Because I'm black, I'm poor. And I don't have a problem with the garbage man, the sanitation engineer. They work half the hours that I worked when I was working and make as much money, and they can go out and relax in the afternoon. I was still working. So I don't see it that way. There's no people at the top and people at the bottom. If my child wanted to be a person that's a sanitation engineer and he can sleep at night and not have to worry about going to jail and have an honest living, I'm just as proud of him as he had a doctorate degree at Harvard.
Yes, sir.
So we don't qualify people like, it's what you do. And start with you. Those out there that's not doing need to do. You're seeing it and complaining that they're not doing. How have you inquired to find out what it is they need to do or you want them to do? They don't know unless you go to them. You can go in groups, you can go in small groups or whatever. But let's stop feeling that we're entitled because you're dark like me. That doesn't mean you're entitled. We may have to work harder in order to get it done, but do the work.
Okay,
So now what I want to do
we're here. I think that's why we're here.
Yes.
Because we're concerned. And we have now identified and we know now what's being presented, so we know how to go back to follow up on it. But I think that's why everybody's here, is because we have a concern and we want to work together with the powers that be.
And you know what? That's why I wanted to say this to you, and then I'm gonna get to my subject, right? See, when you guys are here, you think we know everything, but we don't. And sometimes somebody can turn the light on for you in a way that you can see something you didn't see before. And because you didn't do it, doesn't mean that you won't do it. It just means that you didn't know or you didn't realize, because there's a lot of competing interests. I'm going to take y'all through something. When I first started running, I came out here. Then I come out here. And I say, how y'all doing? I say, hey, lady, let me tell you what we want. We come out to this park, we keep it clean. We come out to this park, we've been doing it for 30 years. We come out here and we play with our children and our families, right? Say, we just want the bathroom open. Did y'all say that? Oh. So we use it, we'll clean it. Cut the grass so we can play soccer so our feet not deep in the thing, right? So I said, yeah, okay. Then I started coming by every Sunday. Because I said, I don't like all of this here crowd. I don't like all of this here nonsense. So they didn't really know who I was because I wasn't elected at that time. But I wanted to be an ordinary citizen. One that you can disrespect. Somebody you can say, hey, sister, come here. And be disrespectful. And every time I came out here, I never encountered it.
Thank you.
I have.
Thank you.
That's her.
Thank you, girl. That's not what we.
But what I listened though to is the credibility of what was being said to me. And what I realized is that the same people that were standing on that sidewalk had the same concerns of the people who were in office. They had the same concern of the lady in their house and the man over at that house. And that was about safety, about living in a community and being able to enjoy their recreation. It was the same concerns about overall family. So when I got in, I didn't know that much about the bond. I knew I voted on it. Wow. This man and this man right here, they're like my big brothers. And if you got a brother will tell you things that you don't always want to hear as his sister. Right? And so I say, why we can't have a pool at Myrtle Grove? Why is that pool not open? Because as I told you guys, I was a little girl. That's where I learned how to swim. My summers were filled with doing my chores real quick so I could get to the park. And my mama would give me and my sisters money so we could get in the park and go to swim. So I said, why? They said, Councilwoman, we done the research. Parks are not fiscally sound. They're very expensive to maintain. So I said, I don't care what it costs. These people pay the taxes, they paying for the bond. Put the pool in. They said, we done the investigation. This is how much it costs to get the pool. You can't do it. You can't afford it. I said, I don't believe what y'all telling me. Right? Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that? So what I did, I started doing research myself. Because I'm an educator. I ran a non-for-profit. I've written grants, wrote the largest grant in the state of Florida history for community education. Okay? So when you come to me and you tell me something, you can't just tell me something. Because I'm going to go and investigate. That's why I'm here today. So I left here with this gentleman. And we went to Fort Pierce. Because I told him, I said, I don't just want a pool. I want an aquatic center. I want a center where people can competitively swim. I want a center where children can come and get on the water pads and enjoy a day at the park with their family. I want a pool that is a physical therapy pool where people who are elderly that can't exercise and move, they can come in for water therapy. I don't just want a pool. I want a place where when they go into this water, the athletes can come and they can get training, right? When their knees are bad, they can do that. So I went to Fort Pierce and I went to see what they had. And it costs a lot of money, huh?
It costs a lot of money.
There goes 60 million.
That's what I said. What you said?
Instead of letting the people park free for the games, because we know they come, let's charge them to generate the revenue.
So I said, we got to generate some revenue. And then we talked a little more, and they said, well, Councilwoman, there may be ways that you can do this, but you can't get all of that at one time. Because the fee of maintaining a community park or pool, right? Aquatic center. Aquatic center can be astronomical. So we learned some things when we went to Fort Pierce, and that was that for the most part, aquatic center will pay for itself. Did we learn that? But the issue is not the aquatic center paying for itself. The issue is being able to have the upstart of the money to invest from the beginning. Is that true? And so to a large extent, when we take a look at being able to get our pool, it will take years. It's going to take years to get the investment together. It's going to take time to be able to move it in. And if we did something like that, it would have to be done in phases. You follow what I'm saying? So you might start out with a water pad. 2 to 3 years later, you might see the pool come in. 2 to 3 years later, you might see additional things added. But that would be similar, just like that thing over there. We will come and we'll say, we got some investors. We can get the aquatic center in. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. That's how that would have to work. But being able to put a pool in, like right now, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board about the pool being a pool that I envision and collectively that I've heard you guys say you want it, right? And that's not a wading pool. It's a 6-10 feet pool, but it's a very expensive proposition. And the key comes down to sustainability, the maintenance of that pool, the whole 9 yards. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do what you asked me to do. I could pull together that budget with the help of these gentlemen. We could do a schematic drawing based on what it'll take. I'll bring that back to you and I'll let you know exactly what it's going to cost, what it look like, the whole 9 yards. And if that's something that you want, then we could go to the wall. And what does going to the wall? Oh, no, Joe Biden said, let's have at it. And that means that you got a council that has to approve it. Right? And that council is the one that has the final vote. I'm one vote. But the council is the one that will come and be able to say, yay or nay, we approve these renovations. But whether or not I'm willing to fight for what you have said to me you want, I am willing to go to the wall for it. That's just what it is. But I'm letting you know straight up and down, it's not a cheap proposition. That's number one. Number two, community pools require maintenance. I don't know. Y'all live in Myrtle Grove, so y'all water bill come from North Miami Beach. Is it cheap? It's an expensive thing for water, and it's not cheap to put all of the things in there. But I am constituent driven. So whatever it is that you guys determine that y'all want, I'll put the work in. I'll do what is necessary to get it to where I can take it. And then after that, it'll be a council decision. Am I correct? Did I leave anything out? Y'all want to put anything in?
No.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So how do we get involved as constituents with your process? How do we get involved?
You know, what I can do is I can, y'all want to do this? I mean, I know y'all would be crazy tired of this. We can have a subcommittee for Myrtle Grove Park. And we can work together to begin to get this thing up the way we need to. And we can definitely continue, right, to come back out here, address the residents, be able to give everybody updates. And that could be on the Sunday, let you know what's up, and we can keep it moving. As long as we keep everyone informed, that work doesn't frighten me. If there's something that you'd like to do, I'd like to do.
Can you Zoom it versus just keep coming out here?
I can do both.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do, and the reason why I'm gonna do both is because I know everyone is not proficient on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman. There's the reason why I'm out here today, because as you know, we have the neighborhood watch in various areas. We have identified a multiple area where it's difficult to having that committee looking at us. We have people here, Ria is one of those that is very interested, but once they get the community and a group of people with the same mind, in order to do from 183rd Street, go down to 151st, 27th Avenue, going back to 37th Avenue, which is really covered in the work.
That comes down.
With your assistance, we can get the same minds together in a list so they can have the formulate the first meeting so we can get started on the council manager and form a new group that is willing, but they need the bodies and don't have the mechanism to get them on reach for the same minds. So it's the purpose I'm here today in order to build upon what we have. On the east side we good. On the west side we are working because the intent is every segment of Miami Garden should be under the umbrella group that people are looking up for the interests like this and come together for the greater good.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You said that. I got some clipboards with some information. I want to see who the ones that's talking, who's interested. My question was, what will we lose if they do the aquatic center or pool or whatever? What will we lose?
That would be an architect's, that they would have to give us a rendering based on space and all of that kind of stuff. Just as the suggestions that has come aboard, the architects are the ones that have to put that together. And once they lay it out, they'll tell us what we lose based on the square footages and the minimal requirements that can be done here.
Okay, that's why it's important for us to engage and be involved, so we'll know.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to look at what was budgeted for this pool initially. How much money was budgeted for this pool, for this park initially? Now you got one rendering already. Is the proposed budget based on that rendering that you have now, or is it based on the amount of money that you were going to spend initially? Because it could be more. And then you would go ahead and approve less money based on the rendering that you have now. So when do you decide?
The budget is $5.4 million.
Oh, you can do something with that. But you got to be careful that you do what you want.
Yes,
because you got the money. You got to be careful that you do what you want because the money is there.
Like I said, And I'm going to say this very candidly. You know, my goal here is to ensure that for the most part, there is integrity in the process. This is not about Katrina as much as about what I'm going to leave here based on my work and the assignment that I'm here for. So if the money allows us to do what we want to do, then that's what we're going to do. But if it's not, then we need to figure out some other avenues or other ways. But the key is to have participation that's viable. And I am not a traditional person. I, with no respect, no disrespect to you, I appreciate your work, but I'm interested in all of the ordinary citizens.
And most definitely.
You follow me? I want all of them. Because see, what I've learned about good people don't argue all the time. They want to get to the business and they want to be gone. And so sometimes the people who argue all the time, they're the only ones that are heard. And that ain't where I'm at. So I want to hear from the people that really every day are going to be impacted by this. Because again, sometimes they are left out of the process. They're left out. They're left out. And they pay the same taxes. And so I want them to have a voice. So before there are going to be any final decisions made, and I told y'all that, didn't I? I said, we got to go see them. They said to me, Councilwoman, we do it anyway. I said, but you got to do it this way.
Yes. When you mention ordinary people, there are all types of people. There are some people who are more assertive. There are some people that have more of a voice and have okay with doing the voice. But they're speaking for a lot of people. So I don't want anyone to feel that because your personality or your demeanor sees you as a person that speaks out, it's okay. It takes all kind of people to make this world work. Because just like when we were in school and one person asked a question, you sitting back there like, oh, good, that's just what I wanted to ask. So don't feel like, you're ordinary too. You just happen to be one of those that speaks up.
That's right.
And that's okay.
Because I'm one of the ones that speak up. See, I'm one of the ones that speak up.
Me too.
But what ends up happening about being one of the ones that speak up, I silence those that are quiet. And so as a teacher, what I've learned is in my classroom, I'm not teaching only to the gifted. I'm teaching to the ones that need the help too. That's it.
It doesn't mean you have a gift. I don't have a lot of gifts.
Yes, you do.
I can't do any of this stuff out here. I don't have no athletic ability at all. But none. I passed PE because that was a written exam. That's it. But the thing is, everyone brings something to the table, and they should be respected.
Exactly.
So that's the end of my. Okay, yes, sir.
Now we're gonna get updates.
Yes, sir.
Also, a lot of people have perception when they come to this park. They see a lot of people with probably dreadlocks or certain things. We want some data.
Okay.
We're going to listen to data. I've been here over 20-something years, 30 years. And I've seen police come around here for one side.
That's a blessing.
So isolated stuff. So we'd like to see the data because I heard someone say that they can't come to the park and smoke and whatever. And I think that's
today.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do, guys? We're a little bit over.
Okay.
Guys.
Yes.
Guys.
Wow.
Hey. Oh. Okay, we're about a half hour over.
Yes.
And generally, I don't like to go over because I said 1 hour, right?
Okay.
But I want to thank you for your time, all of you.
Yes.
All of you. Okay? And so next meeting, I'm going to do a recap tomorrow and meet me Monday. The next meeting, when I said it, I'm going to do robocalls to make sure everybody in our area gets it. And I will do the same thing. I will put the cards on the gate. And we're going to be on the
Zoom.
Not the Zoom, but the cities. I'll put the notices out on the city thing. And I'll try to do a Zoom.
Let me get a newspaper out here. Y'all need to
I don't know how it goes, but it's going to be Zoom and in person, right?
Yeah, but they
And
don't
so
put
if I'm able
anything
to do
worth
that,
anything
that's
in
the way
there.
we'll do
I got a
both of them.
publication in here.
Okay? So I'm going to say,
I'm sorry, can I just say one word? Because some people don't know. if you all don't know how to get on the website, I have like 15 of these. It has the public affairs that you can actually get online to register to receive information. A lot of you don't know that. And that's where your information comes from. They have a quarterly Miami Gardens paper, okay, that you can find out some information. So if you want to be involved, go online and register to get notifications so you know what's going on.
They don't always tell though. They don't always tell because people don't know where to find those.
Okay,
That's the
so
thing.
what I'm gonna do?
You don't know where to get those.
Let me tell you what I'm gonna do.
Yes.
We're gonna close out. I'm gonna ask the pastor to offer a final word, prayer, and what I want you guys to do is to be safe.
Yes.
And to take care of your families. And if you haven't, I would encourage everyone, according to their own, to be vaccinated so that you can protect yourself as well as others. And I want to thank you all for coming. And I appreciate your input and what you have offered us today. And I thank you for this great conversation that we've had about our beloved park. And so I'm going to ask Pastor to close, and then I want to say this here, that we have a great city manager who does a beyond excellent job. And he works hard to translate our vision into reality and to make it fit in a box of our budget and the other priorities that oftentimes compete with us as a city. And Mr. Clay, he makes sure that we try to stay in budget and that everything is fiscally sound. The one thing that we can say is that we're not necessarily running a debt. We haven't raised taxes. That if the pandemic had not hit, this park would have been all up and moving. And so many of our projects in our city has kept going because it's been managed very well by this manager and his team of folks. Now, there's another lady that I love, and she's here today, and her name is Miss Paulette. And she's a humble soul, but she works hard, and she has an immaculate team. And anytime you walk on the grounds of this park, or Parks and Recreation in Miami Gardens, you're going to be met with good customer service. Not because she's around, but because she's trained good people. And her comes under this manager. He hires good folks to do a good job. Okay? So I'm going to ask, from whom all blessings flow.
Just one more thing. Thank you. I appreciate it. If anybody interested in being on the neighborhood watch, what Mr. Ragu was speaking of, I have something that you can fill out because you can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. So,
okay,
then you know.
Come on.
I'll end by saying today was a good meeting. And it's the start of something that I'm sure the councilwoman will continue to do, and she has my support behind it as well. Let us pray. God our Father, we thank you, we bless you, we adore you for all the great things that you've done and that you continue to do for the beautiful city of Miami Gardens. We ask, God, that you continue to rain on our city with your many blessings. And God, we promise to give you all the praise, honor, and glory. Thank you for the leadership of Councilwoman and our manager and the entire residents, everyone that calls this city home. Father, we thank you, we bless you, we love you. It is in your son's name I pray, amen.